The Wike-led faction of the People's Democratic Party has announced its national convention for March 2026. This comes after months of internal wrangling, dissolutions of zonal leaderships, and court battles over legitimacy. The convention is expected to elect a new national working committee of the party, according to the faction.
The big question on the lips of Nigerians is this a step forward? Is this a step towards unity or a deeper fracture in the party? Will this convention strengthen PDP as a credible opposition ahead of 2027, or will it cement more divisions within its fold?
Power to the people. Members of the Board of Trustees of our great party, members of the press, esteemed leaders of our great party, it is with gratitude to Almighty Allah and a deep sense of honor that I welcome the Board of Trustees members of this important meeting of our great party, the People's Democratic Party. May I say happy new month to all of us. Let me begin by appreciating our board chairman and secretary and all members for their genuine support to the National Caretaker Committee under my leadership. We cannot take your support for granted. We recognize the burden you carry and acknowledge your firm commitment to the party. I want to also extend my heartfelt gratitude to our leader, the FCT Minister, for standing by us all the time. We are grateful, Your Excellency. Christmas and New Year break is over. It is high time to focus on the mandate given to us as caretaker committee members to put our party on the right track. We have initially waited for the holiday to be over, and now it is time for action. Your Excellencies, you are aware of the declaratory judgment by the Ibadan High Court in our favor. The law is simple and unambiguous, and we shall continue to pursue justice for our great party. Any moment from now, we shall rule out timetable for activities that has to do with the outstanding congresses in some states that will usher in seamless national convention. The People's Democratic Party remains the only party that is built and centered on people with structure, national coherence, and verifiable legacies. We can.
It's the only opposition party we have in this country. Go to all the wars. Go to all the wars. All the units. All the heads. What? Forget about this is a cherry. You know, these people, they come from here, they come from here. They have no identity.
The first thing I want to say is in Yoruba land, we always say that if you see a house or a compound that is peaceful, the vagabond in that house has not grown up. The vagabond in PDP, they grew up in 2015, they had their time, and 10 years, a decade, they practice their vagabondsy in the PDP. But they have been expelled in November 2025. So no more vagabond in PDP.
Well, so there you have it. We heard from the PDP National Executive Committee, the FCT Minister, and of course the Governor of Oyo State. Now, join us this morning for this discussion are two top chieftains of the People's Democratic Party, former Special Advisor to President Goodluck Jonathan and member of the PDP, Comrade Jude and also Dickson Iroegbu. I'd like to start with Dickson Iroegbu. Dickson Iroegbu, you honored us with your presence immediately after the Ibadan convention a few months ago. And you sounded triumphant. It seems like the dark days of the People's Democratic Party were over following the expulsion and the successful convention that was held in Ibadan. But the courts have decided otherwise, and the Wike faction is insisting on going ahead with another convention. What do you make of this latest development in your party, the People's Democratic Party?
Good morning, and thank you for having me once again. Yes, I have appeared on this platform and discussed my party, and will always be available to discuss my party with all pleasure. The convention that held in Ibadan, for us, the members of the People's Democratic Party, that is about the best thing that happened to our party. We had a group of people who thought they could derail the drive, the prosperous future of the party and all that. So, and at that convention, which they did everything possible to stop, because their mission was to ensure that that convention never held. And thank God, the resilience of the people and the commitment of the party faithfuls to rescue the party and indeed give it a proper direction, that convention did hold. Now, the recent court judgment where the leadership of the party, that is KT Taminu Turaki, SAN, applied to court for the court to compel INEC to recognize the new NWC. And of course, these rascally members who were expelled from the party, rascally former members of the party who have been expelled from the party, sought to be joined in the suit, and the court became a Father Christmas by not granting the request of the Taminu Turaki leadership, but rather awarded what was not requested for in court, and that is where the joke is, where court became a Father Christmas and granted a group of people who said they are caretaker, whatever we don't know about. That's definitely not PDP. Well, the processes are on. The victory of the PDP cannot be stopped by a group of people who the public, including the media, know where they stand. We all know that this crop of people have declared their interest, but because of a system that allows for this level of impunity to thrive, you can see that gathering and all of that in the name of Nyesom Wike, who is no more a member of the party himself, and 10 others were expelled. So that's just a gathering of the expelled members of PDP and their friends. They are proposed, whatever they call it, convention or whatever. That's a huge joke, being taken too far, because what locus do you have to gather in the name of PDP? But like I said, the process of redeeming the party is on. We're still in court. That judgment from Ibadan has since been appealed, and of course, stay of execution also activated and all that. So they're just jokers. And to imagine that these are the people that held sway once as leaders, in our party, adults, behaving as though they are children. You wonder what examples are they leaving behind for their children, when they can be dancing this shameless dance and all of that in the name of playing politics. It's unfortunate how, when they say you can never know the true character of any human being, only when the person has money or when the person is giving money or giving power. We have seen it in Nyesom Wike that people can indeed get drunk in power. People can get carried away and begin to carry themselves as though they are bigger than the larger society. PDP is bigger than any individual and this crop of people. They cannot stop the People's Democratic Party, except, of course, the judiciary affirms that, you know, all of what has been said about them is, by their confirmation, true. Because if they continue in this direction, there may be no image left for the judiciary. The Supreme Court has ruled clearly that political party leadership is not justiciable. Because it is not justiciable, why then will a group of people think that they can hold the party down by going to court to derail the leadership and all that? It cannot stand. It's an illegality that only is surviving because the current leadership is enabling, that is the President Tinubu's administration is enabling all sorts of rascality in the country in the name of playing politics.
So
it's unfortunate, very unfortunate.
We get the sense of what you are driving at, and if I were to summarize it lightly, I would say that you're likening what's happening with the Wike faction to a soap opera, maybe back in the day, Binta and Friends. Let's have Comrade Jude Imagwe react.
It's a bad script, a badly written soap opera.
Okay, so let's have Comrade.
Badly written script.
Well, the Binta and Friends I was referencing wasn't really badly written. It was just very entertaining. But
that's what I'm saying. This one is a bad. I'm a filmmaker, so I can understand when the script is right. Okay. These actors are bad actors, and they are acting a very horrible script.
Do you agree with him, Comrade Imagwe?
My dear William, good morning. Benga, good morning. And then Joe, good morning.
Good morning.
Dickson, good morning. It's actually very funny. Yeah, it's actually very funny to sit down and see Dickson speak like this. First, there are some choice of words that he used that I found very disturbing. Dickson worked with me while I was advisor to the president of Youth and Students Matter. So I didn't see this character of him, and as unfortunate as it is, I will leave that for some other day. It is not today for me to discuss personal issue or have people. My concern, Olive, like you mentioned, that whether do I agree with, I totally do not think. If you remember on this very platform of yours, I wrote the first letter that ignited the crisis about leadership misbehavior, leadership rascality, and an abandonment of the leadership as then led by Damagu of the People's Democratic Party. Now, for the purpose of clarity, people should not think that emotions translate into constitutionality. Or people should not, for the fact that they hate one person, or they have deep grievances or dissenting or hatred, bitterness with one person's character, suggest that every other processes that surrounds what stands is wrong. I take a total exception to all what Dickson had mentioned. One, every party is founded by the guidance of its constitution, which is this document. You cannot operate without constitution. As much as this constitution guides your party is also not an exclusion from the society. It therefore means, again, because it's a political issue, it is also guided, it derives its strengths, particularly as it has to do with elections and convention. It therefore derives its strength from the Electoral Act of Nigeria 2022 as amended. The Electoral Act again derives its strength from the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It therefore means every organization, including your agency, should they want to do anything that is ethical, that has the face of constitutionality and must be respected, must follow first its own constitution. Secondly, follow the constitution that guides the process that leads its own constitution to the actualization of that process. Then the third, what is the law of the land saying? My brother, see, without being economical with the truth and without having emotions, see, I do not want to sit and say, because one man, people don't like one man, I'll say, since they don't like him, the thing that is all doing is wrong. No, you don't like him, you don't like him. What we are discussing is different from what his personality is. Did our party, PDP, respect our own constitution first before going for convention? The answer is no. Okay. The second aspect of it, what does the Electoral Act 22, section 82 of it? It was very clear about how congresses and conventions can be held.
All right.
Section.
Comrade Imagwe,
Olive.
we have to go on a very quick break. A very quick break. And when we come back, you expand further on how the PDP did not respect its constitution and the provision of the Electoral Act that you're making reference to. We'll discuss that after the break.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Welcome back to Breakfast Central. Before we went on the break, we're speaking about the PDP and the drama going on within the party. The Wike faction is set to have its convention in a couple of weeks. So we're joined by Comrade Jude Imagwe this morning, and we also have Mazi
Dickson
Iroegbu. Thank you very much for that clarification. Now, before we went on the break, Comrade Imagwe, you were speaking about, one, you said the PDP did not follow its own constitution before the Congress, and then you were also expanding on the provision of the Electoral Act. You may please go ahead on that.
Olive. Now, see, before we proceed into that, it is usually not too fair for you to say Wike PDP. There is no Wike PDP. There is a People's Democratic Party. What the court said before today and today did not say Wike. The court said People's Democratic Party. So you don't misinform the public by saying Wike does not have any PDP. There is People's Democratic Party. So that is clear. Now back to it, my dear. Before the Ibadan gathering, there was a court substituting court order instituted by chairman of states of the People's Democratic Party. Now you cannot go into a convention with caretaker. And as at the time they were planning that gathering, we had over 16 states that were still under caretaker. Chairman of those states approached the court and said, if you go ahead with this convention, you are denying our states from participation in the convention because caretaker do not have a place in the convention to vote. They approached the court, and the court gave a judgment. The court did not give an order. The court gave a judgment. There is difference between an order and a judgment. When a judgment is given, I am not a lawyer, but I am learned enough to an extent, and at least I have practiced student unionism as a parliamentarian throughout my days in the university. Once a judgment is given, it must be respected. What did that judgment say? The judgment said, please, everything that concerns your convention, put it to hold. Go and address these issues, these fundamental issues that are also part of your constitutional requirement, your own party's constitutional requirement. Go and address them. What I expected, that a sensible sense of people that needed to lead the party to the place they choose to want to lead it to would have done was, my dear, it would not have taken us 4 working days to have this issue addressed. And I advised on this. If you leave on Wednesday, conduct world congresses on Thursday. That same team conducts local government congress on Friday. And on Saturday, they conduct state congresses. We would have solved the problem. Now you can go back to the court and tell the court that that which you used as a limiting factor from us to conducting our convention had been addressed. Then we can go. You jettisoned it. You rather went to Oyo and collected an ex partes order. An ex partes order and a judgment are totally two different things. People must learn these things. The second leg of it is a former member, a BOT member, and a NEC member, a former governor of Jigawa State, Governor Sule Lamido, approached the court and said, I want to contest an election, but these people are denying me the right to contest. On the basis of that, I do not think if they go ahead with that convention, my right had been protected. Another judgment, not order, another judgment said based on this man's right, it's an infringement on his fundamental human rights, his right of expression and his right to contest. On the basis of that, nobody should go ahead with anything until this issue is addressed. When you appeal a case, you wait for the outcome of the appeal. You don't go through the back to do something different. Now they still went ahead. But before they even went ahead to that place for that early Christmas gathering, they constituted their own, the BOT that they were answerable to, constituted a reconciliation committee. That BOT, that committee advised that please, do not proceed. Let us come back and see how we can gather ourselves and approach convention as a united PDP in our family. They said no. The former Senate President, former governor of Kwara State, former chairman of Governors Forum, Senator Bukola Saraki, said, please, I am advising, do not approach this convention. Can we sit down as a family and solve these problems before we go for convention? All these things fell on deaf ear. Let us assume that these persons do not mean anything. The chairman of the convention committee, the governor of Adamawa State, Governor Fintiri, at the venue of the convention, haven't observed that first, Section 82 of the INEC Electoral Act says clearly, INEC was very clear about it. INEC, Congresses cannot be valid. Congresses cannot be valid. Section 82, Article 2 of it says a Congress cannot be valid unless INEC is given an unrestrained access to monitor the process. INEC official must be present at the venue and throughout the Congress. If INEC is prevented from monitoring, the outcome is invalid. I did not say so, my dear. Check the Electoral Act. That is what the Electoral Act says. So people should not bring emotions into conversation. There is also a section of the Electoral Act that says, a Congress, sorry, so that I can just take this thing and start remembering my thoughts.
Mr. Imagwe. All right, Mr. Imagwe, let's get a response from Imagwe.
But can I land on my thought, please? When he was speaking,
all right, go ahead.
Excuse me.
But
when he was speaking, I was quiet, and you gave him all the opportunity to express himself. I will be very pleased if you can accord me that respect, please.
I can, but please, you just need to use. Let's use the time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Time quickly.
Section 4 of it said adherence to democratic principle. The Electoral Act. It states clearly, a Congress must reflect internal democracy, equal opportunity for aspirants, no imposition of candidates, no exclusion of eligible member, open and transparent delegate decision. It says where there is an exclusion, the Congress is null and void, as repeated and affirmed by Nigeria's court. So when we look, I can go ahead to read a whole lot of what the Electoral Act says and where we on ourselves have shot ourselves on the leg. But see, let me land on this thought. You know why I said we should not allow emotions to become the judgment of the strength we have. And I heard Dickson said, call people naturally. He would not have called them such name, rascal. I would not reduce myself to that level to insult people that I know by all definition they are older than me. I call them that respect. For whatever behavior they are demonstrating today, they are humans. They have the right to demonstrate such behavior and carry it to the extent at which they want to carry it. But it is for future and history to remember them for how they acted. But for emotions not to lead us, I will tell you clearly, and I'll say it without contradiction. If the Governor Wike and FCT minister that everybody is shouting today was part of Ibadan Convention, I will tell you without contradiction, they would have also said that Ibadan Convention was not right. You know why? They are not looking at the process. They are looking at the man. And you cannot say you want to correct something and raise another thing. What was the concern? If you do not like Wike, the same letter I wrote, correct the processes that gives any person an opportunity to hold strong the party. You say you do not like Wike. Let us agree, though we are not conceding. That is the problem. Now, you went to convention in Ibadan. You again that is leading that convention is ascribing the office of the National Secretary to yourself. And you gave your own person. If, for instance, Governor Sheyi of Oyo wakes up tomorrow and says he wants to be presidential candidate, and Tenimu Turaki says he doesn't want him to be presidential candidate, and he goes back to use the same instrumentality of his secretary that he has produced to begin to cause problem. Have we solved the problem? We haven't solved the problem, and this is still my own concern. My concern is we cannot allow people choose for us who will lead us in the party.
Okay.
Tenibu Turaki is a fine man in sound. If he's a product of a transparent, unified Congress, I will be more than glad.
All right, Mr.
Mr. Imagwe is somebody I hold a high respect for, but he must be a product of a process that is transparent, a process that is.
All right, Mr. Imagwe,
I'm sorry, I have to
we have to interrupt at this point. We're so sorry.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to manage time. We have to bring in.
Yeah, we just have to manage time.
Yeah, we have to manage time. But I think we get your point. We have one more person who has to join the conversation. We have Honorable Kingsley Odu who joins us now. Good morning, Mr. Odu. Thank you very much for Mr. Collins Odu. Thank you for joining us this morning on the conversation. I'm sure that you've been listening to both parties who have shared their thoughts with Mr. Iroegbu, who of course has said that what's happening with Mr. Honorable Wike, the Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is a joke. And we've seen Mr. Imagwe, who has spoken so strongly in defense of that. Let's get your thoughts on, some of the points that have been made.
Okay, good morning and thanks for having me. Thanks for that correction, Collins Odu. Okay, I want to buy the idea of the special advisor, Jude, to say that sentiments cannot override facts. We cannot begin to whip up sentiments on the happenings in our party. He mentioned all the areas where our party failed to live up to expectations in terms of the requirements from the Constitution, our party Constitution, and the Electoral Act. All that he said are very convincing and clear to the dumb and deaf. So I don't know from what angle Iroegbu is whipping up his sentiments. I think that he would better do that to his family than bring that to the Jude too. To have been very minimal, and as he has comported himself in use of languages to describe a person like the Honorable Minister of the FCT as a rascal is most unfortunate on a national television, because you are holding a position different from his. You begin to tarnish the image of a very respected Nigerian, a workaholic. And let me not go by praises, but I think that people should mind the utterances when in national...
Honorable Collins. Honorable, thank you so much for that point. I'm afraid I just need to mention, we'll try as much as possible to please manage our time, because we don't have enough time. You're going to respond, but we need to go on a quick break. Let's pay the bills so that we can keep having the conversations like this. We'll be right back. Stay with us, please. Thanks so much for staying with us. We're taking a look at the PDP as a political party, the infractions, and not forgetting to conventions. One set to hold in March, the other one held last year. Yet the judge, or better say you could say the law, is what we are also debating. The constitutional rights of the political party internally and that which governs the party. There's also a statement that Nigeria's judiciary had said they have no business with dealing with political parties concerning their internal issues. But yet again, we did see statements that were made from the judiciary concerning the PDP especially. And the PDP members, some factions have said there are particular judges who are always judging the PDP matters, and they always do that to the benefit of the FCT minister. Well, our guests here are, most importantly, we have Mr. Jude Imagwe, who is a special advisor, former special advisor to the former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. We also have Iroegbu, who happens to be a PDP member, a chieftain as well. And then we have Honorable Collins Odu, who is joining us as well, former River State House of Assembly member. But let me go straight to the man in the middle, right there on the screen, which happens to be Iroegbu. Just before we went on the break, you did hear from the two sides, the two gentlemen on your left and your right. What's your reaction? And what do you make of the fact that the judiciary isn't helping the situation, if you think it is?
First, thank you again. I'm not the one expressing emotion. It's clear. I'm sure the viewers will identify who is expressing emotion and all of that. I'm staying on the issues that affect the People's Democratic Party. Responding to Comrade Jude Imagwe, clearly he reeled out some things, but not all the facts. The Electoral Act, clearly, what it mandates a political party to do is the 21 days notification. The aspect of convention holding and INEC being there is optional. If INEC chose not to be there, the Electoral Act did not say that INEC must be there, so that we don't misinform the public. And at the 101 convention neck of the People's Democratic Party, excuse me, please, can I have my floor?
No, you see, you cannot misinform the public with electoral act.
Please allow him to speak.
Party constitution. I have the floor, please. I have the floor. Now, at the 101 neck of the PDP, where the date for that convention was announced, INEC was present. And of course, INEC was communicated to within that 21 days window provision. And then, of course, yes, there were 2 court cases that people loyal to Nyesom Wike, as clearly as both of you are loyal to him, went to court. That is Imo State chairman, PDP Imo chairman, and PDP Abia chairman, and George Turner. These are the 3 people that went to court. These are loyalists of Nyesom Wike. And of course, you are aware that the PDP has written to the agency saying there are a group of judges that every time we have a case, you assign our case to them. And these people appear to be biased against us in favor of Nyesom Wike, but that has not been listened to. I have never referred Nyesom Wike as a rascal. If you're calling him a rascal, that's your own word. What I said is that the acts are rascally. These are political rascality being taken too far, and that what they are planning is a huge joke. So if you have decided to now confine it to Nyesom Wike, it's allowed. After all, his activities are in the public domain, and every Nigerian can attest to the excesses of the FCT minister, because look at my brother from Rivers. How is Rivers today, where one man is said to be a member of PDP and a member of APC? This is not a banana republic. This is not a jungle. Nigeria is still governed by rules, and the game we are playing is politics. It has rules also. You can't be there and here. You must choose a position. The People's Democratic Party did everything to make sure that those who have sworn that they are going to stop the party from making progress politically in 2027, that they are not allowed to succeed. So that when the party was planning the convention and did everything possible to ensure that those crop of people who are obviously detractors are not allowed to succeed. And somebody is now saying, oh, that we are being emotional. What is being emotional? Only a tree will be told, I will cut you down tomorrow, and you'll stand there. The PDP has done everything to save itself. Now we're in court. So let us exhaust it in court. Every other thing that is being done by this group of expelled members is political rascality taken too far. And I return that because this constitution has given us how that we should conduct ourselves as a political party. And the constitution of Nigeria also, and the Electoral Act you referred to, Comrade Jude, also has given us what to do and what not to do. And the party did comply with all of those angles. That we are having these squabbles, and a group, because they're in power now, think that they can pull the party down from within. Well, unfortunately, the PDP is too big for any one person or a group of few individuals to think that they can derail it. So please, you are the one expressing emotions. You are the one being partisan and biased. So if you have taken a position in that direction, I stand with the PDP as guided by this constitution. So the other angles, please don't put words in my mouth. I maintain my position that what is being done by this group is political rascality being taken too far. That's my position.
Thank you very much. I'd like to bring Comrade back into the conversation. Because of the little time we have left, let's just get straight into it. As we're in towards the 2027 elections and, you know, this new convention coming up, what are the hopes of the People's Democratic Party putting up a formidable challenge against the APC? And will they be fielding a presidential candidate? As you know, the FCT minister has expressly said he has thrown his support behind Mr. President. So what will be the point of going into the convention?
Yeah, thank you. You gave him 5 minutes. I'm going to stay to my 5 minutes. Now, I stay to my 5 minutes so that people don't get misinformed.
You don't have 5 minutes.
I'm sorry, you don't have. You
I
can
will
use.
stay with, okay,
you
I'll
can
stay
use,
with 2 minutes. Let's not drag my time, please. Let's not drag my time.
Please go on. Yeah.
So that people outside don't get misinformed. You see, a man that is not informed is deformed. And when you are deformed, you cannot perform. The summary of Electoral Act, what my brother Dickson have all said is emotional because he has not cited any section of anywhere that guided anything they have done. I have cited every section that faulted everything they did, and those sections are valid. But the summary of the Electoral Act, so that people can read it, 12 of it said, and in summary, he said, in summary, a validly elected Congress in Nigeria must satisfy the following. 1, 21 days notice, yes. 2, INEC monitoring. INEC did not. Compliance with party constitution. The party did not comply with their own constitution. Transparent delegate accreditation. That didn't happen. Compliance with Electoral Act. Total disabuse of it. Credible voting, direct or indirect consensus product. That we didn't see. Non-exclusion or imposition of candidate. Jigawa, former governor, has that case in court. Proper documentation and submission of result. That didn't happen. Then you know what the thing has said? If any by law means an iota, any of these things is violated, that Congress becomes invalid and challengeable in court, and INEC may reject the outcome. So when we are talking, we are constitutional people, let us be guided by what gives us power and where we derive our strength. Now back to the 2027. See, if we are honest, like I'll continue to say, those that have been saddled with the responsibility today, the court has given them judgment. I pleaded, go and reach out to everybody. Let us have a unified home. After convention, we'll now begin to look for primaries and who becomes our presidential candidate. But you may be very shocked for me to state today, the only presidential candidate among all of them parading themselves that have actually lived as somebody that has been in an opposition I want to be a presidential candidate is Peter Obi. Forget my emotions, forget my sentiment. That is the only person that has shown opposition. If for any reason PDP constitutes themselves properly and able to bring him, fine. If they are not able to bring him, he seeks a platform and goes for it. But let us be very clear with one final word, my dear. There was a time we had opposition in PDP when we had governors like Governor Wike, who is current FCT minister today, Governor Fayose, Governor Jack Asandan Kwambo, Governor Emmanuel Udom, Governor Otom of Benue State. These governors resisted an incumbent government. They stayed as opposition. Governor Wike-led, provided leadership. Whether you don't like him, he provided leadership. Let us assume all we are not considered, that is the problem. And people now want to become maturita of that group, and they are not providing leadership. Can any of these persons that are saying today they are standing on the path of right challenge this incumbent government the way Governor Fayose, the way Governor Wike challenge Governor President Buhari administration? If they dare it, if they can do it, I will stand tomorrow to say whatever they are doing is right, because therefore I know they are fighting for the people. Well, you cannot be a matilita when you do not have the stamina, you do not have the courage.
Okay, Mr. Imagwe.
Leadership comes with two things: stamina and courage. If you don't have the stamina, you don't have the resistance.
Your time is up, I'm afraid.
All right. So please, we are ready for the convention. Everybody should come on board. Let's go for the convention. I'm not asking for anything.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. But we have Mr. Odu have the final say. Mr. Odu, let's get your final thoughts as we close out on the conversation.
Yeah, my final thought is the fact that Iroegbu is continuously trying to tarnish the image of the Honorable Minister of the FCT. He keeps referring to us as people who are loyal to him. We're only loyal to the party, and we respect the constitution of the party. The Honorable Minister of the FCT has also been following the steps as recommended by the Electoral Act and the Constitution. So I would like him to desist from always trying to tarnish his image. The Honorable Minister is not APC, PDP. The Honorable Minister is PDP, non-PDP. Said that he wanted to support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because power haven't stayed 8 years in the north, should be shifted to the south. That is his conviction, and he still follows it till date.
Since I'm not going to be given a second chance to respond to all of these things that I'm being accused of.
Just hold on, please. Just hold on. Let him go on.
If the party will zone it to the south, why then sacrifice that 4 years that we wanted to have a southerner, and PDP refused to have things switched or done in a zonal form, which made even Governor Seyi Makinde to resist the northern hegemony. So right now, if you have a conviction and he's still following the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who he voted, and the president is performing very well. So this is a man with conviction, and he follows it up. So I would advise him to stick to the issues.
Oh my.
Okay.
You have succeeded in exposing yourself finally, because these are people who said they are going to stay in the party and pull the party down. You cannot say you're a member of the People's Democratic Party and you're supporting the candidate of APC. You cannot do that. You have a right as a citizen of Nigeria to support whoever you want to support, but not while being a member of the People's Democratic Party. So the viewers can now decide for themselves who truly are the true members of the People's Democratic Party. You have exposed yourselves here by all of these things you have said here. Yes, so we is working for Tinubu, and he says he's going to stay in PDP and do that. And we are saying it's not possible.
All right.
I mean, only okay, you have lost control of this platform. So know that you are no longer in control of your platform.
Please hold on. We're still in control.
Everyone has had an opportunity.
I'm sure you are no longer in control of it, but that is the clear truth.
No, unfortunately, you can't say that, because being that we are in control, we are going to have to wrap up the conversation.
Somebody cannot just jump into conversation.
We have given each of you time to express your concern, and we respect your time. And we thank you very much for joining us to share your thoughts.
I will not say it's unfortunate, but I just feel that such actions
we'll have to go on a break now,
future.
gentlemen, and we look forward to having you again. We wish the People's Democratic Party all the best as we count down to 2027 elections. Thank you for your time.